Hello and welcome back to Rhonda Says, Healthy Living from A to Z. Today we are on chapter G and we're going to be discussing glutes. In the book you've discovered all kinds of correctives from chapter C that went into things that will help with your knee stability, will help with your hip mobility. One of the major things that we push here at Rhonda Have Fit is glute strength. We really want your glutes to be strong. It's the powerhouse of your whole body. So we're going to show you a couple of things to add to your routine, but first I just want to review two things that you've been doing in your correctives. One is the sit to stand, and I just want to show you that she is sitting up nice and tall. Her ankles are below her knees, they're not pulled back, and she is going to come up, squeezing the glutes. Her weight stays in her heels. Hannah, go ahead and do that for me. That's it. So your sit to stand needs to look like that. So if it doesn't look like that yet, please keep trying and please don't give up. The other one is a step up. This is another one that's really good for glutes because most of us go up the stairs leaning into our knees too much, where we really want to use that powerhouse to go up. It will protect your knees. So what we want to do with this, Hannah, if you'll stand up, put your right foot on the step. When you do your step up, all you're doing is focusing on your glutes. She's going to step straight up. Go ahead. And notice that she did not lean into this. She just went straight up using the powerhouse muscles in the glutes. So keep working on that if you haven't perfected it. If you have perfected it, yay, we could get to move on. So I'm going to show you two more things that you can add to your glute workout. One is a simple hip hinge. This is important because later on we'll be doing some Romanian deadlifts and you want to be able to hinge properly. So I'm going to show you two things that you can do with your hip hinge. We're first going to start at the wall. You want your feet about 6 to 12 inches from the wall, and you want to hinge. Now remember, when we talk about the hips, and we've said this in other videos, the hips are not your pelvis. The hips are down here. That's your hip joint. So we want to hinge at that hip joint. So as Hannah hinges back towards the wall, the reason the wall is there is for two things. Number one, if you're really getting your weight back and into your heels, you may feel like you're going to fall over, so the wall will catch you. But also, you want to keep pushing your hips back until you touch the wall. So go ahead and push your hips back, Hannah, all the way to the wall. So what she's doing here is keeping her back completely straight. If your back, go ahead and round it. If your back starts to round like this, we never want to see that in a hip hinge because it can hurt your lower back. So especially if you're getting ready to do some weights, you don't want to do that with your back. So your hip hinge is right here. Go ahead and stand up. She's pressing up and through from the glutes, and then do it one more time for me. Pushing those hips back. Notice that she's going really slow and controlled. She's keeping her lower back completely stable. So no rounding in the lower back. And then stand up again. And now, once you get comfortable with the fact that you can hinge back without falling backwards, then you can take your dowel or broomstick and you can use that to make sure that you're actually getting a proper hinge. So I'm going to have Hannah to turn, and we're going to, yep, like this, and we're going to place this on her back. Notice that she's grabbing it at the cervical spine and at the lumbar spine. So you want your hands to be in those areas of your body that have a natural curve to them. Then she's going to take her head back and touch the dowel. So you want to maintain 3 contacts: the head, the scapular area, and the glutes. So as she hinges back, if any of those come apart, then she's not hinging properly. So as she's hinging back, notice that her head stays attached, her thoracic area stays attached, her glutes stay attached. Stand up. Good. Do it one more time for me, and I want you to just show me something that's different. So make something come apart. Okay. Okay, so here she's leaning into her knees, and if you notice, she dropped her head away from the dowel. So it's very, very important that as you do your hinge, you get those hips back behind you, the knees stay over the ankles, and you come down as one unit. I like to tell people to think about their shoulders and their hips making a perfect triangle, and that triangle is stuck together and it has to move together. Okay, go ahead and stand up. And the next one that we're going to show you is the glute bridge. So I'm just going to have Hannah to lie down here. With the glute bridge, we're going to have you have your palms up, and I know a lot of people have you to push your palms down or even to push the upper part of your arm into the floor. I want you to really work on drawing the abdominals in and lifting through the hips without any upper body help. So that's why I have you put your palms up. If it feels a little bit too hard, go ahead and do whatever you need to do to brace yourself, but try to get back to this position eventually. When she lifts, it is not about how high she goes, so go ahead and go up really, really high. When she does this, her lower back becomes unstable. And come down. So just remember that we're going for lumbar stability, not lumbar instability. So if your back is doing this as you're doing your glute bridges, you want to not go as high. So it's not a race to see how high we can get and how fast we can go. It's more of seeing how much control we can keep in the glutes. So we want you to come up fairly high. Ideally, we want you to have a diagonal from the knee to the shoulder. So come up again, but don't let your lower back become unstable. Good. If you come up 1 more inch, you'll be in the perfect spot. Right there, you can draw a straight line here. That's where we want you to be. And her weight, even though her toes are down, her weight is pushing into her heels. If you have a hard time with that, you can actually lift your toes off the floor. Okay, come back down. And that is a simple glute bridge. So make sure you're doing it properly, because good form is going to make a big difference in whether you get the results we're looking for or not. So until next time, journey on.